Alright guys, this section is going to involve knowing when to go get a tune-up from your local bike shop. Now obviously throughout the video we're going to show you certain things that will help you do certain repairs that will allow you not to have to get a full tune-up. However, I want to give you a good guideline so that you know when your bike's going to need that sort of attention. Because some things we won't be able to cover in this video, like wheel truing. I don't really feel comfortable showing you how to adjust derailleurs at this point. I'd rather do a one-on-one teaching for that. So let's go ahead and jump into this and show you some general rules to know when you're going to need that tune-up to be done. Checking for play in your hubs. I'm going to take the wheel in my hand with the handlebar in the other hand and check for side-to-side play in that hub assembly. Not feeling anything, I'll do the same thing on my back wheel. Feeling for play in my hub assembly. Don't feel anything there. So that's how you do the hubs. For the bottom bracket, we're going to grab either crank arm at the top and the bottom and go back and forth once again in a forwards and backwards motion, feeling for any apparent play that is possibly there. And felt good. Now on the headset, we're going to take our handlebar and stem and our wheel. We're going to do the same forwards and backwards rocking motion, feeling for any play that may exist between the bearing assembly for your headset. One feels good. Other good way to check the headset for play is while the bike's on the ground, apply that front brake, rock it back and forth in a nice forwards and backwards motion. Once again, if there's any play in the headset, you're going to feel it. Okay, so that's how you check for play in all your bearing assemblies. Now for brakes, in order to know when your brakes are going to need adjustment. Basically on a disc brake, if the lever begins to go all the way back to the handlebar, you might need to have those brakes bled. A number of things could be going on. So I can't get into all the details, but that's one possibility. Moving forward though, most bikes are going to have a mechanical cable setup on road bikes, comfort bikes, and then pretty much all the entry-level mountain bikes. So with that setup, if the lever begins to come all the way back to the handlebar, you know that your cable is stretched out. At that point, you're going to want to go in and have the brake cable adjusted. Once again, at the end of this video, you should know how to adjust your brakes. Alright, so that gets your brake adjustments. Back down to the wheels. In order to check for the trueness of your wheels, if you're riding a road bike or a V-brake setup on your mountain bike or hybrid bike, what you'll do is look for the gaps between the surface of your rim and your pad. Any lateral bob there, or if that rim actually makes contact while it's spinning with the surface of the pad, you'll know that your wheel needs to be trued up. So this bike has disc brakes, so I want to show you on this, and this will be a good example, and you can kind of apply this to all bikes. Imagine that my finger is your brake pad. Notice I'm getting this within a couple of millimeters of the surface of my rim. Now what I'm going to do here is go ahead and spin my wheel, and like I said, we're looking for any lateral bob or any touching that that rim might do. And if you look closely, it does definitely have some movement there. So I know I need to true up my wheel. The tension on my spokes is a little off. Well, look at that. That's way off. That spoke's, wow. That's not good. I'm glad I saw that. Alright, so on the rear wheel, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and spin my wheel, look for any lateral bob. And once again, wow, Sean needs to true up his wheels. That's got probably 3.5 to 4 millimeters of bob in that. The wheel definitely needs to be trued. The tension's way off. Alright, so you've got a couple of good examples right there in front of you of seeing wheels that are out of true, spoke tension that's way off. I'm going to have to retension this guy. But we'll go ahead and move on to our derailleurs at this point. For the front derailleur, if you begin to notice the front derailleur cage rubbing on your chain in unusual combinations, that's telling you, hey, my cable's probably stretched out. So listen to your bike. It's gonna be able to tell you what's going on with it, especially the more you ride, the more you're going to learn about how this thing works. Alright, back to the rear derailleur. As the tension and cable stretch occurs on these rear derailleurs, what will happen is the pull-release ratio gets thrown off and the chain won't line up with the cogs correctly. So what occurs is the chain begins jumping around, it'll skip, it makes clicking noises. A number of things can happen, but if you notice any noises or chattering or slipping on that rear end, it's probably going to need some adjustment. So So these are some good tips that'll get you started, good guidelines, so that you know when to go to your shop and get a tune-up. And honestly, it'll save you money so that you don't get repairs done when you don't need them. So keep this stuff in mind. I'm sure your local mechanics will be happy to give you a few pointers of your own and show you on a one-on-one basis.